What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel, and today we're shooting one of my favorite videos to do, games I beat last year, which would be 2025. I've done this video for several years now, and I don't know, it's one of my favorite videos to shoot. It seems like the pile gets smaller every year, doesn't it? It was definitely bigger before, and it's been up to here, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a good year for gaming, because it was most definitely quality over quantity. That doesn't mean there's no filler, but they're not all killer. So let's jump into it and see what games I beat in 2025. Alright, so this is probably gonna be kind of a long one. So I got myself two beverages. First off, got me a martini here. With some blue cheese olives in my 1992 Midway Classics Pac-Man glass. The last time I drank out of this may have been on my 40th birthday video. Go back and watch that one a long time ago. Cheers! Ooh, didn't make it dirty enough. Let's chase it down with some root beer. Alright, so I only beat 16 games in 2025. The summer had me playing like no games, and there was some long games that I was determined to not give up on, and then we'll get to that. But it was still a good year, even though, it was no Captain Algebra 104 or CM Retro. I think he got 40-some, 42 or something, but it's all about quality, not quantity. Now, gonna have to consult my list because I can't remember everything here. So, I've got 17 consoles. And one of the things that I say I'm gonna do every year and never do is beat one game for each of those consoles. And I made it halfway-ish. I had 8 out of the 17 consoles. The consoles I play: Atari, Nintendo, Famicom, Sega Master System, Game Boy, which includes Game Boy Color. That's not two separate ones. Game Gear, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Sega Genesis, Xbox, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Wii, Switch, Arcade, and N64. Pretty sure I didn't leave anything out. We're going to do these in order that I beat them. So it's not best to worst, worst, best, anything like that. We're going to start off with the first one of the year. Now, as I always say, these are newly beat games. No repeats. No Contra, no Zelda, none of the things I play often and love and beat. Nope, these are games I beat for the first time. So, we're going to start off with shit. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The first game I beat of the year in early January, when I was just sitting on my ass in bed. It was a cold, snowy day. I'm like, I'm just going to play video games all day today. And in my bedroom, I've got the Mini hooked up. I was bound and determined for the first time ever to beat Super Mario World. And I did. This is by far one of the best Mario games ever. A staple classic in everyone's library, obviously. Believe it or not, I never had this game back in the day because I stuck to the Nintendo or the NES for a long time. And then, everybody else had it. And when I finally got a Super Nintendo, everybody else had it and you played it everywhere. So I never really actually beat it because you'd always be playing it at somebody else's house. And to the best of my recollection, I never actually had seen the ending until I beat it. And beat it I did. But I do know previously in the most recent decade, at the times when I would play this, I'd always get stuck in that forest area, not know how the hell to get out of it, and I ended up rage quitting. I was disappointed that Bowser wasn't harder. He was super easy. I want to say I beat him like the first try. Maybe died once, but yeah, I actually had never seen the ending to that game until this day in January 2025. And beat it I did. After that, that was when I once again just scrolled through the games on the old mini here and jumped into, if you saw my video before this, with Games of the Year, game number 2, also my number 2 game of 2025, Super Metroid. We could talk about Super Metroid all day, but we're just going to graze over it because I did cover it in somewhat length on the video before this, which I suggest you watch. But what do I need to tell you about Super Metroid that you don't already know? Nothing, because I'm the last person to not beat this game. But now it's beat. Super Metroid. Wow. As I said before, I tried to play through it a few times throughout the years, and you know, I wouldn't play it consistently. I'd put it down and then come back to it sometime later, and that is not the kind of game this is, because it's so large and the things you need to remember, so I would always just get frustrated and stuck. But with my new philosophy of starting a game and finishing it and not rage quitting, I was determined to take this one down, and I'm so glad I did. It did give me some difficulty. There were some spots where I had trouble getting through, but once I stumbled upon the fact that there's a grappling hook and you use it to swing to get from place to place, and then once I figured out when you have the speed boots you can get that power run going and bust through the blocks with the arrows. That was what was stopping me previously, I believe, because you can't progress without that. But being rejuvenated with the hope, I explored on and finished this game within about a week. Super Metroid is amazing and definitely one of my top games of all time. Once again, another reason that I'd never beat it is because I don't actually have it. I had it on the Mini, and the Mini's not something I think about much. So, yeah. The third game I beat in 2025 was right after I finished Super Metroid. It was another one of those lazy January cold days where I was like, I'm just gonna lay in bed and play video games. After I beat Super Metroid, I didn't want to stop playing, and I also didn't want to get off my ass, so I just scrolled through some more games on the old Mini, and lo and behold, Street Fighter 2. Hadn't played that in a while. I hadn't played this game in a really, really long time, but I beat it in like 30 minutes, which was confusing because I remember it being hard as hell. So either the turbo version is easier, or I am awesome, or both. Next game I beat in 2025 was, I heard CM Retro talking about it. I'm not sure why. It was probably in the games I beat in 2024, because I usually get a lot of good stuff from his games I beat video, so that probably led me to, you know, he would have put that out at the end of the year. It's the beginning of the year, so let's try a game CM Retro just beat. Donkey Kong 3. I usually say this a lot, haven't said it yet in this video, but this is yet another game I hated at first and then it grew on me. CM Retro said the World of Long Plays called it an official beat after level 15. They say that you've seen all the enemies and the boards by then, so it just loops. I'm not calling him a liar, but I didn't believe him. So I had to look it up for myself. I did confirm it, but then I played on and got to level 21 just in case. Didn't make that dirty enough. Next game up is my 2025 Game of the Year and all-time greatest game I've ever played. You watched the video before this, you know. If you don't, now you do. Octopath Traveler 2. Octopath Traveler 2, the greatest game I ever played. Loved everything about it. Graphics, sound, gameplay, all a perfect 10. As much as I like everything, the soundtrack is absolutely fucking phenomenal. The final boss, when you get to use all 8 of your characters, even though that made it easy, it was still super fun. Great way to reward you for 100+ hours of play. I could go on forever. Even as much as I liked it, the end was the weakest just because it was easy, but it was super fun because you got to use all 8 characters. So, I don't know what to say about that, but wow. From the other video, people have been commenting, saying they hadn't played it, they want to. Don't sleep on it. Holy shit. You don't have to play the first one to play this one. I mean, I suggest you do, because that game is awesome, and then this is even better, but make sure you play Octopath Traveler 2. Next game I beat. I actually have here a Nintendo repro card of it, but the game that I played was actually a Famicom cartridge, and I think I eBayed it because it's not a great, it's an arcade classic. The Famicom NES versions aren't that great, but since I have it on this cart, and this is the one I want because I love me those gray guys. But so we're looking at the NES cartridge. I actually beat it on Famicom. Yie Ar Kung-Fu. On the Famicom, this game is not great. It's abysmal hit detection, just abysmal. 5 enemy fights, then it loops. I played through 2 loops and then felt plenty satisfied. The arcade is much longer and even more infuriating. I've mentioned it before, but Yie Ar Kung-Fu is actually one of 3 arcade games that kind of got me into YouTube, because there was 3 arcade games from back in the day that I absolutely had to play because they were just games that brought nostalgia, and Yie Ar Kung-Fu was one of them. Used to play it at the bowling alley with my parents when they would take me. I was probably in like 1st grade, something. They gave me a couple quarters. Loved it. Yie Ar Kung-Fu was it. Another one, I forget the name now. I've talked about it before on games I beat, but it's a space, it's not a shooter, but it's a space, we're not going to talk about it. I can't remember the name, you don't know, but there's still one game from my childhood that I'm searching out. And that was, like I was saying, was what got me into like YouTube, because I would start searching for the arcade games, trying to figure out what they were, because I would go through, I had all the Nintendo games on the NES, but I still had not yet found the one I was looking for, Yie Ar Kung-Fu, because it's actually on the Famicom. But there's one game that I'm still looking for, and I don't have much to explain. I always thought it was Ghost House on the Sega Master System, but it's not. But it's a game that reminds me of Ghost House, but it was in the arcade. And there's one that's, somebody might say it's Ghost something, but yeah, I'm rambling now, and I've only had 1 sip of my delicious cocktail. But if you know an arcade game that's similar to Ghost House, where you somehow, it's kind of cutesy, and there are vampires that you have to hit in it, let me know. I'm still searching. No longer searching to beat a classic NES black box title, Excitebike. One day, had the hankering, threw some Excitebike in. Never considered it actually having an ending, but I was like, hey, whatever. T1 loops, so I think that's the end. After I beat T1, I considered it a win. Am I wrong? I felt satisfied with that. Next game, on the Game Boy. This is one you never hear about. It's not spectacular, but I had a lot of fun with it. Smurfs. Smurfs on the Game Boy is way cooler than you would think. The first level is weak, and it controls slippery. Once you get a few levels in and get used to them, it's easy and fun. There's tons of different levels with lots of diversity, and that was one of the things I liked most about this game. There's side-scrolling and vertical action. There's a raft board, a minecart board, a sled, which was my favorite. You fly a stork in one board. You climb some vines, you bounce on springs. Lots of things that, I don't know, related to a Smurf cartoon. There's a few boss battles to save your fellow Smurfs, but the final battle versus Gargamel was just stupid. And no little kid would end up beating him. It was ultra tricky, it was just terrible. There is no way any little kid ever beat Gargamel back in the day. Nowadays, with kids growing up playing video games since they're this tall, maybe, but it's just it was a super poor end to a decent game. The graphics weren't spectacular, but I did like it. I suggest you try Smurfs on the Game Boy. It's not making any Game of the Year lists, but a game that could make a Game of the Year list, depending on the games you played. But some of the bangers forced this one out of it. This was a long time grail to add to my collection. Finally picked it up at the Detroit Retro Gaming Show last year. That would be none other than G.I. Joe, a real American hero. This banger eluded me for so long because I always wanted to pick it up at a con. It was a game that I always wanted because I was such a huge G.I. Joe fan. But that being said, I wanted to score it at a con. You don't see it very much, and it was always pricey. Like I said, I scored it at the Detroit Retro Gaming Show for just $60. Check out the video I did on that. It came out pretty good. I love the Detroit Retro Gaming Show. It's a smaller convention, but lots of fun. As I said in that video, this is a $90 game. I ended up scoring it for $60 because the scumbag reseller didn't realize which G.I. Joe game he had and marked it at the price of the Atlantis Factor one. Score $30 for Back in the Day Gamer. I say this with having great knowledge of the NES library. If it weren't for the horrible, broken-ass, fun-killing sewer stages where you have to plant bombs at the check marks and get out before time expires, these G.I. Joe games would be on every top 10 list, hanging and banging right there with Contra. Okay, not quite the Contra level of fun, but right up there. They have so much source material to play off of, not only that which is great, but holds some of the highest levels of nostalgia for the entire generation of people playing the NES. It does it right too. Lots of actual Joe characters to choose from. You play as, Snake Eyes, Duke, Rock and Roll, the Snow Job. You get General Hawk. There's maybe one or two more. I wish there were more, but even more enemies and actual vehicles as bosses. So many of these you forgot even existed, or you forgot that you actually had back in the day. My favorite of which in this game is Road Pig. I always loved that character. I remember when they introduced him as a new Dreadnought, and he was like beefier than all the other previous characters, and he came with that badass cylinder block stick as a weapon. Super glad to see Road Pig was in there. The graphics in this game are great. They nail the way the sprites look. The run and gun portions of the game and boss battles were super fun. The story's decent. Cobra bad, Joe good. But it's G.I. Joe and it's awesome, and the only reason every little boy who had an NES back in the day didn't have this was because you had fun for 10 minutes, then you got to that fucking terrible ass bomb planting sewer stages, which was a good idea, but horribly executed. Got stuck, said fuck it, quit. Getting all worked up about that. Seriously, there's two things I loved when I was a kid. G.I. Joe and Nintendo. They fucked that up. Can you imagine Contra with the G.I. Joe graphics and all the sprites? Next game up. Let me get another cocktail. I'm talking a lot here. Not even halfway through this drink. I'm gonna have an olive. Want to watch me chomp an olive? They're blue cheese stuffed ones. I like anchovy stuffed olives the best, but they didn't have those at the store. Okay. Next game up. It's a banger. Also did a Video Games Monthly unboxing of this one, where I was standing out in the creek behind my house. The hell's his name? Big Old Words. One of my favorite channels. This is his favorite game. Kickmaster. The first time I played this one way back in the day, I know I for sure hated it. No punch or weapons, just kick, hard pass. And I was super wrong. This time around, I immediately got super hooked and couldn't put it down. I postponed making my unboxing video because I didn't want to stop playing. Coming round to the first Game Boy Advance game we beat of the year, I was going to do a review on this because the movie'd come out, and I got it right before that, and it's actually a freaking solid game. It's like a Metal Slug clone, but total surprise. Never would have thought. Lilo and Stitch. This is just a really good game for a licensed movie-based kids game. It's just a good game, period. Lots of diversity, starting out as a run and gun, then moving to a puzzle platformer, switching to a tube shooter, then back to the others again, before switching yet again, then do something of a twist before the final boss. This is definitely the surprise pick of the year. I don't know, at the end I'll do some recaps. Sometimes I forget because I got talking too much and had too much vodka, but if I forget, this was definitely the surprise of the bunch. Unless something else we get to is better. I don't know, let's see. The game we're gonna play next it's good. It delivered exactly what I thought. It's a little better than average, a little more difficult than your typical Mario game. Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe on the Switch. This was one of my favorite Mario games so far. It's no 3D world, but it's good. It was tougher than I thought, like I said. I was used to playing Mario Wonder at the time because Angry Baby and I were really doing a lot of that, or more so him doing it and me scrolling Facebook on my phone because I'm Mario Wondered out. What made it tough is that you can bump into each other or be in each other's way. I didn't care for that. It was not really in the vein of all the other Mario games. Yeah, and that angered me, and Angry Baby thought it would be funny to screw me over on purpose a lot. Like, yeah, that got old, but even on one player though, there were some hard boards, especially at the end. But Bowser at the end was super easy. I beat him second try. So even though it was easy and I beat him the second try, so far this has been my favorite Bowser of any of the games that we played because he looked awesome and was huge. I really liked that. I also did like the throwback to Super Mario Bros. 1. Next game I beat, I don't know, I might not have any game footage for because I've got one of those Pandora dual arcade sticks that you plug into the TV. It's got like 1,000 arcade games on it. Well, I wanted to show you right now, for instance. And I asked the wife, where was it? And she was just like, I don't know. As she was doing something else, ignoring me. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where it is? I didn't do anything with it. When clearly she did, because it was right here. And she has to come in and like reorganize everything. I didn't put it somewhere where I don't know where it is. I mean, the thing's 3 fucking feet long. Like, I don't know where it is. But anyway, I don't have that to showcase right now, but it doesn't matter because you don't care. But the game that I played was an arcade game that I'd wanted to take down for a while because it's super fun. I put a little bit of time into it here and there now and again, but you know, it was a lazy Saturday. I'm like, I'm just gonna beat this game. That game would be Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Graphics, fantastic. The color palette's awesome. I actually have, if I get off my ass and do some B-roll, I've got one of the characters that I bought back during 2020 when I was on an eBay go nuts rabbit hole. But the characters are great. It's clever how they tie cows into everything. You know, it's a old west arcade shooting up, like, sweet game. It's run and gun. Lots of cool bosses. The one scorpion boss was super cool. The game's great. Just plays good, sounds good, looks really, really good. Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Boom! To my knowledge, it's only arcade only. There's no port on any console. If there is, I'd get it. I'd suggest you get it too. Next game. Next game up. We're approaching the end of the list here. There's only a few more. This was my number 3 game of the year. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on Game Boy Color. I talked about it in length in the last video, so we'll just plow through it. But for a Game Boy Color game, this is one hell of a play. I'd love to do a review on this one. but I'm busy and lazy, so I probably won't. But there's just so much to talk about in this game. For starters, it's pretty long, and it's got a lot of content. It's a turn-based RPG with a Hogwarts that consists of like 7 levels, a dungeon, and the grounds. And oh, you know, I forgot, when in the other video there's also the Forbidden Forest. You have to go into that for, you know, like in the movie. That was a cool addition to it as well. Just lots of stuff in this. Obviously it's a licensed title, which usually means it's crap, but it's not. This one's great. I've also played the sequel to this also on the Game Boy Color, Chamber of Secrets, but I think this one's a little better. I'm not sure why. Played that one a few years back, but the feeling that this one's better. Either way, they're both good. They're both very similar. I'd recommend both or either for sure. I would imagine that they're super cheap. I completely expected this one to be a half-assed cash grab, but oh no. This was a lengthy handheld game with a lot of substance. The turn-based gameplay, which I am a fan of, did get a tad stale. You know, it's Harry Potter and it's his first year, so it's kiddie because he's a kid. You don't have weapons, you just use spells. You never kill anything, he just runs away. You know, the occasional quite lengthy cut screens were good. They were really good for a Game Boy Color title, man. Of course, the graphics are not spectacular because, well, we knew that. It's on the Game Boy Color. You know, how good can it be? As I said in the previous video, you know, I'm not sure if this is really follows the book because I am well familiar with the movie, but not the book. It had a lot of really similar parts to the movie, but some of them were different, so I just have to go ahead and imagine they followed it off the book, which I did not read. Yeah, I could sit here and talk at great length about this game, not only because I liked it so much, because I recently finished it and it's fresh in my mind. The fact that I only recently finished this, though, is the one gripe I have. Also, as I stated in the previous video, I started this game like a year ago. Popped it in, played for several hours, really loving it. You know, I was hooked, and then I got stuck. And then I was pissed. So my new vow is to not rage quit games, but you know, it's okay, we'll just put this one down for a little while, forget about it, come back a long time later, you know, and then play it some more, get stuck still, couldn't blah 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 blah. But apparently there was some little event that triggered what I needed to do to progress, and finally, like the fucking 10th time that I was just like, I'm beating this damn kid's game, I triggered it, figured it out, and well, as you know, I have beat it, because that's why it's in this video. And a big part as to why there's only 16 games in this video, because I vowed to not quit games and stick to them, so I've beat a lot less, but there's less time for filler and shit. But this was one I was determined to take down because I liked it so much, and it was a kid's game, and I wasn't going to let it beat me. And also, as you know, Back in the Day Gamer has vowed to not look things up, so that's putting me in quite a position in some of these games. This one, like I said, you know, yeah, it was a long game, but it's a kid's handheld game. I should have breezed through it, but I didn't. But I persevered, and I beat it, and here we are. That being said, let's touch on a game that I didn't beat. But I spent more time this year than any of these games. The bulk of Octopath Traveler 2 was in 2024, and I ended up beating it early in the year, but that was just because I was playing it. But I also started this game over a year ago. Same thing happened. There's some little event, got stuck, couldn't do it. We're talking about Dragon Warrior 2. Now here is where I'm gonna ask my friends for some help, because I don't look things up. Refuse to look things up. Refuse to do it. On an ancient-ass old turn-based RPG like this, you know, there's things you need to know to beat it. Like on, you know, Castlevania 2. Like, I've never beat that because there's shit you gotta know and I won't look it up. But we're talking about Dragon Warrior 2. So, you can't, Back in the Day Gamer can't look things up because you couldn't look things up back in the day. But you could talk to your friends at school, Everybody was playing Nintendo. Everybody was talking about what they were doing. You're always at your friend's house watching them. So you could get hints from your friends. You guys are my friends, right? So I got stuck. The I am all wrath, blah, 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 that part. If you're familiar with this game, you know. Finally figured out how to use the I am all wrath to get to the last part, to get to the last castle. So now I'm at the last castle. But it's got that illusion on it. And in the maps and booklets and shit that came with the game, which I have, so that's not cheating, that's original stuff from back in the day, it says that I believe I think I need Erdrick's token to prove I'm Erdrick, to get something, to take the spell off the castle, to reveal it. But I don't have Erdrick's token anymore because I think I used it. I traded it for a piece of armor or something. So like, now I don't, if you're going to give me a hint, which I'd appreciate, I want a hint, a little one. I mean, am I fucked? Because I spent a lot of time on this game and it's like I'm soft locked. Like if I need that, but I got rid of it, I went back to where I got it and it's not there now. So I think I'm fucked. And I don't look things up, but it's okay to ask friends for help. Now, what I'm asking, I'm not asking for the answer, but I'm asking, am I fucked? Because I really want to beat this because I want to do 3 and 4. But I can't do that without beating 2. And, I mean, do I have to start over? Because I put a lot of time into that game. And I'm getting pissed just thinking about it. I'm pissed. Do I have to start over? That's what I want to know. What I want to know. Or if I'm missing something, just say, no, you're missing something, and I'll keep grinding it out. But I think I'm fucked. I think I gotta start over. That pisses me off a lot. Another game I recently did a VGM unboxing on. It's a banger that I got from them. As you know, let's graze over this real quick. I had to check the camera because we already ran out of time. I had to blah, 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 blah. Just switched over. We're good. I'm signed up for VGM. Love it. It's awesome. Awesome subscription-based service. But I only collect for the NES now. And I only have like 40, 50 games left, whatever. Most of them are bangers. So what we'll do is they'll find me a game I need. And it'll just count for several months boxes. So when you see me saying I got this in my VGM box, that's why I got it. But Felix the Cat. Renowned as a good game, but extremely easy, and that it was. While capturing the footage from my VGM video, I sat down and played through the whole thing in like an hour and a half. Yes, it was easy, and yes, it was fun. Decent graphics, responsive controls, not really a lot of replay value for me though. No, I just feel like probably never gonna play this one again. Fun fact though, my very first pet growing up was a cat that my parents had named Felix. Not sure why they named it Felix because it was an orange tabby, not a black and white cat. But oddly enough, the next cat we got looked exactly like the actual Felix character, but they named him Maynard. And this was before Tool came out. So, not sure why they named him Maynard, but it's a fact. And that happened. I had absolutely no idea growing up that Felix the Cat was a cartoon character. Had no idea it existed at all. But I did, however, know the song because my parents would sing it to the cat. Felix the Cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he's in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Yeah, that happened. I called him Fifi, and he loved catnip. Moving on to the last game we beat in 2025. Beat it on the Switch. We recently got the membership thing. Can't think of what it's called. Whatever. Got the N64 emulator on there. We were playing. I actually got it so he could play Super Mario World because he's into watching YouTube videos. Who does that, right? But he was just down a Mario World rabbit hole and he super wanted that game, and I didn't want him to fuck up my gold N64. So I was like, you know what? We'll just get this emulator on the Switch. And we did, and he played it for 10 minutes and didn't like it, just like I told him was going to happen. Nope. Nothing's changed. Kids still don't listen to their parents. I didn't listen to mine. He's not listening to me. Guess I'm getting what I deserve. But one day I was just dicking around with it. Sick of playing Mario Kart on 64, which is awesome, but I played the hell out of it, so I just got sick of it. I tossed in the Dr. Mario. Is it Dr. Mario? Tetris? No, yeah, Dr. Mario. Tossed in the Dr. Mario. You know, didn't know that was on the N64. And there's the story mode. And since I'm awesome at Dr. Mario, I played through that and beat the shit out of it the first time. And there's no gameplay, or is there? Did I do gameplay? I don't know. Maybe I did. If there's gameplay, you've been watching it. If there isn't, you've been staring at me. Either way, you've won. Let me look at my notes here. We covered the Dragon Warrior 2. Oh yeah, so I've been hardcore playing towards the end of the year. Final Fantasy 3. Put a lot of time into that. Hadn't beat it yet. So fast forward a year, you should be watching me talk about that one. Today, almost did it. Sega Genesis shooter, fantastic game, Phelios. Almost did it today. So hard. Getting super frustrated, but with my philosophy of not quitting, I'm rocking it. And had I not had that philosophy, I would have quit a long time ago and not actually known how great this game is. But man, the fucking ice board, there's the part in the ice board, it's just... So I can get to it like without even using any continues, and I burn up so many continues there. Okay, all right. I'm not sure how you play it, and I want to say it. I want to mention this because you fast forward, you'll be seeing it again. I'm close to beating it, but Agalos on the Switch, holy shit, that game's great. It reminds me of like Legend of Zelda and Crystallis put together. Love that game. Love it. So, let's take a look at the stack of goodness here. And as I already stated in the video before this, best games of 2025. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on the Game Boy Color. Number 2 was Super Metroid. Man, would have been number 1 if I hadn't played through Octopath Traveler 2. Greatest game of all time. Hardest game of the year would have been... what the hell did I say? Which one was the hardest? Man, I don't know. We're gonna skip it. Which one of these was the fucking hardest? I don't know, but you know, looking back on it, it wasn't the hardest, but it just really irks me on that new Super Mario Brothers Wii U game. How you could bump into each other and hit each other and push each other off. That fucked me up for a Mario game, because Mario games are like peaceful and they don't make you angry. It's Mario, he's cute. And on that one, it just got to me. But, okay, so yeah, I don't know. The easiest game would have been Felix the Cat. The most frustrating of the games I beat was, I was gonna say Gargamel and the Smurfs, but those fucking sewer boards on G.I. Joe. Man, that's like, if I could go back in time, be like, I wouldn't do anything important. I would talk to the developers of G.I. Joe and be like, make this game different. So yeah, I guess on that crazy thought, we'll end it there, huh? 16 games beat, far from my goal of, I think I stated that I wanted to beat 12 RPGs, 1 a month, and then 1 game for each console, 17. Yeah, we're good. You know what? After this, I'm gonna shoot the next video. My gaming goals for 2026. Talk about what I lined up for 25, where I failed, how I'm gonna move on, persevere, pull up my bootstraps, get down on them video games. Need some more ice in that. Talking too much. Well, there we go. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I hope you like this video. please, if you have any information on the Dragon Warrior 2, I'm not cheating, I don't want to look things up, but if you could just tell me, once again, am I screwed? Do I have to start over? Because I really don't want to start over. That was a slog. It wasn't that it was hard, it was tedious. Lots of unexciting turn-based battles. Lots of grinding, and I'm a fan of, but I don't want to have to do it again. So yeah, do I have to do it again, YouTube? Let me know. Alright, camera just stopped because I was rambling for too long. So I don't know where we are, but whatever. Sick with this. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, YouTube, keep it retro! Thumbnail.